Good morning from Brazil. I am very happy to introduce to all of you today the Brazilian mining sector, current challenges, and existing opportunities. Mining has been an important economic activity in Brazil since the 17th century, when expeditions took place in search of valuable metals and precious stones. As well, Canada is an important mineral player due to its great geological diversity. In certain ways, both countries share the same concerns and opportunities in the mine sector. Brazil and Canada are continental countries with important mineral reserves located everywhere, thus having to balance mining and environmental stewardships. So far, the bilateral trade and investments between both countries are largely dominated by minerals. As well, the two countries have First Nation communities as stakeholders and undertook mining reforms in the past to become more competitive, as well as to avoid new catastrophes such as the ones happened in Mont Pole, BC, and Mariana and Brumadinho in Brazil. Moving forward, I would like to highlight some important figures that resume the Brazilian mining sector. So, as you can see in the slide, Brazil produced approximately 1 billion tons through over 9,400 mines under concession in 2020, reaching a mineral production of approximately 40 billion American dollars, or roughly 4.2% of the country's GDP when including oil and gas. That means an increase of over 36% when compared with the country's total mineral production in 2019. The main exploited mineral was iron ore, done mainly in the states of Minas Gerais and Pará, the two most important mining hubs in Brazil. The sector generated last year over 180,000 direct jobs and more than 2 million indirect ones. As already mentioned, Brazil is rich in varied mineral resources, which includes over 70 different metallic, non-metallic, and energetic minerals. As you can see in the slide, iron ore represents over 60% of the country's mining production undertaken by Vale and its subsidiaries. The mineral aggregates production is also very important as it impacts positively the Brazilian economy, creating a lot of jobs and improving the country's infrastructure. Still about the country's mineral production, Brazil is the world's top producer of niobium, among the top three in iron ore, vermiculite, graphite, and bauxite, and in the top five in kaolin production. Brazil also exports tin, nickel, magnesite, manganese, chrome, gold, and dimension stones, and imports copper, sulfur, phosphate, diatomite, and zinc. However, the country is highly dependent on the importation of coal ore, potassium, and rare earth metals. Mining continues to be one of the most attractive sectors for Canadian companies in Brazil, thanks to the combination of rich exploration opportunities in this country and a highly organized mining industry in Canada. Some of the largest mining players in Brazil are from Canada, where over 50 major Canadian mining firms are currently active in exploration, equipment, and services. Canadian mining firms have already invested over 4 billion American dollars in Brazil since 2015. Canadian firms do over 70% of Brazil's gold production and 100% of its vanadium production. Canada is also very active in Brazil in terms of sharing of best innovative practices. In September 2019, the Brazilian Mining Institute signed a Memorandum of Understanding with the Mining Association of Canada to adopt in Brazil the Towards Sustainable Mining Initiative developed by MEC. This initiative is aimed to improve environmental and social practices in the mining sector. IBRAM, the Brazilian Mining Institute, is in the process of adopting the Towards Sustainable Mining Principles in Brazil, seeking tools to improve the environmental and social performance of its mining industry in areas such as tailings management, engagement with civil society, and enhanced transparency and accountability. The mining sector in Brazil is characterized as being dominated by a small number of large mining companies, positioning the country as one of the top world mineral producers. Although the fact that Brazil boasts over 9,400 mines under concession, with the largest 154 producing up to 1 million tons annually in the past year, Vale and its subsidiaries accounted for almost 60% of the last year country's mineral output. The Brazilian mining industry faced turbulent times over the past 5 years, mainly because of the major dam failures in Mariana in 2015 and in Brumadinho in 2019, a poor infrastructure and high energy and labor costs, a burdensome and complex taxation system with a slow license and approval processes, because of the recent implementation of a new legal framework for the Brazilian mining sector that took place only in 2017, and more recently because of COVID-19 pandemic of last year. As a result, the Brazilian mineral sector lost almost half of its value since 2011, falling to 24 billion American dollars in 2016. Despite the drop, the country's mining gross domestic production rebounded last year to roughly 40 billion American dollars. Despite all these mentioned challenges faced by the mining sector, as well as the COVID-19 pandemic that hit the sector drastically last year, the extractive industry remains a key sector for the Brazilian economy, accounting for approximately 4.2% of the country's GDP, including oil and gas. Brazil aims to attract new investment in the mining industry to enhance diversification, to protect the environment, and to bring mining operations more profitable. However, the recent dam collapses in Mariana and Brumadinho, as well as the COVID-19 pandemic of last year, have highlighted new challenges to mining operations in Brazil, such as the banning of all upstream dams in a short period of time and the strengthening of environmental laws and policies. To face these new challenges, a fast track to implement Industry 4.0 in the Brazilian mining sector has been put in place. Key mining companies operating in this country are adapting their mining operations quickly in order to increase productivity, make mining operations more profitable, and mitigate environmental impacts. At the same time, this challenging scenario has opened opportunities for new investment in terms of innovative and up-to-date technologies, equipment, and services able to increase operational safety and profitability, as well as to avoid the spread of the virus. As highlighted in this slide, a recent study done by the Brazilian Mining Institute identified potential investments of 38 billion American dollars between 2020-2024 period in the Brazilian mining sector, in particular for bauxite, iron ore, and fertilizer projects mainly. As well, new mineral concessions are planned to be opened this year yet in the country by the Brazilian Mining Regulatory Agency. Although the existence of some constraints in the Brazilian mining sector such as the heavy bureaucracy, the ban of upstream dams, slowness in mineral licensing process, and so on, private mining companies operating in Brazil are still planning to make massive investments in their country operations in order to increase productivity and profitability. Brazil is home to a number of equipment manufacturers, 7,500 approximately, supplying the Brazilian market an estimated 19 billion US dollars in 2020. Despite being a robust and very competitive market, the mining sector imported roughly 1 billion American dollars in 2020 in heavy equipment for sorting, screening, separating, washing, crushing, grading, mixing minerals, airborne survey systems, and spare parts such as diamond tools, core bits, drill rods, casting shoes, and drill rigs. The intensification of automation, the use of robotics, artificial intelligence, and integrated systems in the mining sector are fundamental to increase productivity and make mining operations more profitable. Although the complex taxation system and high tax burden imposed on imported equipment, the Brazilian mining industry is in search of new technologies such as big data analytics, artificial intelligence, virtual reality solutions, remote control systems, real time monitoring and plant automatized systems, digital twin solutions, disruptive technologies, and image analysis systems, all to make mining safer and more productive. As well, the Brazilian mining industry is searching for innovative solutions to mitigate environmental impacts. So far, Canadian companies offering solutions for dry stacking, dewatering, greenhouse gas emissions reduction, and rational usage of water, renewable energy sources, a more efficient energy storage system, and technologies to mitigate dust and noise may find opportunities in the Brazilian mining sector. Licensing and approval processes are overly bureaucratic in Brazil, in particular after the major tailing dam failures in 2015 and 2019 that resulted in a strengthening of environmental laws and policies. Brazilian licensing bodies became more restrictive regarding the approval of new mineral projects, as further requirements have been put in place since 2015 to protect the environment. Upstream dams have been banned from Brazil, and the existing ones might be decommissioned in a short period of time. The Brazilian Mining Institute forecasted investments of 2.2 billion American dollars just for the decommissioning process of upstream dams. So far, foreign engineering firms are very welcome to introduce new construction and decommissioning technologies to local firms through partnership agreements to secure and speed up the approval of mining licensing. There may also be opportunity for corporate training solutions in the Brazilian mining sector. We are going to have two major mining events in Brazil this year. Both events might be virtual due to COVID-19 restrictions imposed on travelers. The first one will be CEMEXMIN Mining Conference and Trade Show, taking place in the city of Ouro Preto, state of Minas Gerais, from July 4th to 7th. This is a medium-sized mining conference taking place every 2 years in Brazil. Canada always had a strong participation on that event, as the large majority of mine exploration companies doing business in Brazil normally attend this show. For this year event, the focus will be on the Canadian capabilities on corporate training in the mining sector. For those training and or academic institutions willing to participate, please contact the Canadian Trade Commissioner Service in Brazil to obtain further details on that event. The second event I would like to share with you is Expo Zibram, far the largest mining trade show in Brazil and one of the most important in Latin America, taking place from September 20 to 24th in the city of Belo Horizonte, state of Minas Gerais. This year event will be focused on the Canadian cleantech expertise. So far, we are planning to organize virtual B2Bs with local mining exploration companies in the margins of the trade show. Please contact the Canadian Trade Commissioner Service in Brazil if you are interested to join us for that event. I've concluded this presentation. Hope you have enjoyed it. If you need any further information on the Brazilian mining sector, please get in contact with the Canadian Trade Commissioner Service in Brazil. I wish to all of you a good and productive PDAC 2021. Thank you. Merci beaucoup. Obrigado.